data structures is actually the technique of representing and organizing the data in an efficient way. So when you take the program, when you take any program will take some input and it gives the output. This is the basic thing related with the program. Now input is nothing but data. Output is nothing but data. Now the data structures allow you to represent data in an efficient way. So there are different ways of representing the data structure, and same data can be represented in using multiple data structure, but we should know which data structure is better in what situations. That's what the data structure is an important thing. And normally when you take a programming language like C, Python, Java, if you don't use the normal data structures, if you use some simple primitive data structures, still you can write the programs and you can solve some problems and get the job. But if you want a job of good package, if you want a job in startup, or if you want a job in product based companies, then data structures is must. So data structures is a very important course, and it will fetch you a job in a very good company like Amazon. If you want to get, you must be very good at data structure. Google, if you want to get, Microsoft, Adobe, if you want to get, you have to be very good at data structures, and it will fetch you. If you are very good at data structure, it will fetch you job of minimum 10 lakhs. And even all product based companies, they see your data structure skills. Once you are good at data structures and logic building, language is not important. You can use either Java, Python, or C, does not matter. If your skills are good, coding skills are good, you know data structures well, what is the suitable data structure in what situation, then you will be placed in a good company with good package. So data structures is a very important thing, because the data structure allows you to represent data and manage the data in an efficient way. So data structure is nothing but it facilitates the programmer in managing the data. So if you want to manage the data, first you have to create and represent the data. So that is how the data structure plays a crucial role. Now, the technical definition of data structures, if you take, data structure is mathematical or logical model of representation. So if you take DS, it is mathematical. DS is a mathematical or logical model of representation. Mathematical or logical model. Model is nothing but a way, model of representing and organizing information. So that is organizing the data or information. So normally, before we proceed with data structure, normally we interchangeably use the words, data and information. We use the words interchangeably, means for to mean the same, we use data and we use information. Strictly speaking, there is a small difference between data and information. When you take data, any value is data. You take any value, it is data. For example, I may say 40, it's a data. I may give hello, it's data. Suppose if I say Virat, it's data. If I say 78.4, it's data. Now, when I take any value is data, but a meaningful or purposeful data is information. So when you take information, it is meaningful and purposeful in data. So information is nothing but meaningful or purposeful data. That means if you give shape to the data, some purpose or meaning to data, it becomes information. Like suppose if I say age 40, so I'm giving some shape to 40. Otherwise, I don't know what is 40. Now, if I take hello, this is okay because it's a text. I may say this name as message. Now, I may say this is average marks. Average marks. I may say this as a name. So when I give some meaning or purpose to data, it becomes information. So normally we use the words data and information to mean the information, but strictly speaking, data and information, there is a slight difference between the two. Any values data and the meaningful or purposeful data is called as information. Now, when you take the data, I told you for the program, data is crucial. Data is more crucial than the logic, because once the data is lost, it is very difficult to get the data, but logic you can get it from different sources, but data is very crucial, and nowadays it is very costly. So data is very crucial, and huge data is available. The proper usage of data is very important. So you must be knowing what data structure to use to represent the particular data for with respect to the problem you are solving. So the data structure, there can be several data structure to represent the same data, but every data structure will be, you cannot say a particular data structure is very good or very bad. It depends on the situation you are using, and it depends upon the data you are using. So it is always better to know all the data structure and use the appropriate data structure at appropriate place. So data structure is very crucial. You have to choose the appropriate data structure at appropriate place. Even if you take the as part of data structures and algorithms, there will be sorting techniques, and there are so many sorting techniques present, but we say quicksort is the best sorting technique, but it is not best in all conditions. Different conditions, different different sorting techniques are used. So what I mean to say here is, there are different data structures, or the same data can be represented using different data structure. For example, if I take a tree, I can represent it with array, or I can represent it with uh, linked list. But in different situations, different data structures work better. So here, as part of the data structures course, which is very critical course in fetching the job, we'll be learning what is a data structure, what are the different data structures available, what are the applications of different data structure, which data structure should be used at what place, that we are going to learn. So that is about the brief introduction about the data structures. Why data structures I've given. I have also defined what is data structure. Next, we'll see the different types of data structures. So types of data structures. Now, data structures are broadly divided into two categories. One is primitive data structure. Another is non-primitive data structure. Primitive and non-primitive. And a primitive data structure, non-primitive data structure further divided into linear and non-linear. So as part of data structures, we'll be learning this part of the data structure. This is primitive data structure is learned as part of the language. So based on the language, the primitive data structures are different. So this is as part of any language, the high level language, we learn the primitive data structure. What is a primitive data structure I'm going to give, but as part of the data structure, we are going to learn about the non-primitive data structure. And one more thing to note here is, mostly we will be implementing these data structures using C, because implementation of data structures using Python may not help you in building your skills. It may help you to develop the solve the problem in a quicker and faster way, but you will not be knowing what is happening in background, because most of the things will happen in background. You in Python you will be using only some function to do the job, but background some data structures are used, some algorithms are used, you may not be aware. So we are going to implement these data structures using C language, because in C language most of the times we'll be developing every data structure from scratch. So you'll be knowing every minute detail that is happening in background when you want to use a data structure. So we are going to learn much about linear and non-linear data structures in data structures, and we will be implementing these data structures using C. Now, first I'll define what is a primitive data structure. Then we'll see, I told you primitive data structure is learned as part of the language. So first we'll define the primitive data structures before we go for non-primitive data structure. So if you take primitive data structure, see, primitive data structure is the one which is at its primary or fundamental level, basic level. It is the fundamental data structure, means it is the minimum unit with which the data can be represented. For example, suppose if you take all standard data types of a language will be considered as primitive data structures. For example, if you take C, char is a primitive data structure because it's a standard data type. Int, short, long, all data structures, float, double, all standard data types, they are called as primitive data structures. Long, double, even if you take the pointer is also the primitive data structures. So their primitive data structure is actually the standard data type that is used in the language, and they are basic or fundamental data structures which are at primary level. Primary level means they are at bottom. Below that there will not be any other way to represent primary level, especially in a language. Of course, within the hardware, it may be a different way it is represented. But if you take the language, it is at the basic or primary level. That means you cannot be dividing them into parts. If I take integer, I cannot divide into parts and use. I have to use the whole data item. So primitive data structure is the one which is at its primary level, and it cannot be partitioned. It has to be used as a single unit. It cannot be partitioned. It has to be used. It has to be used completely, fully as a whole unit. It cannot be it cannot be divided into parts and used. So primitive data structures are the data structures which are at primary level, and these data structures depend on the language you are using. If you use C language, the standard data types are different. If you use Python, very few standard data types like int, there is only one kind of integer, only one kind of real number. But in C, integer is divided into several types, and a real number is divided into several types, but in Python it is different. So the primitive data structures depends on the language. So generally we learn the primitive data structures as part of the language because they are the fundamental data structures. And when you take non-primitive data structure is represented in terms of primitive data structures. That is one very important thing. Non-primitive data structure is not a new one. It is represented in terms of primitive data structures. So the primary level, there are standard data types, and if I want to represent the data, I have to depend mainly on the standard data types. Later, I may be combining in different ways to represent the data. So if I take non-primitive data structures, Non-primitive data structures. I told you this will be learning as part of data structures, and they are represented in terms of primitive data structures. So the primitive data structure is it plays key role because everything is in terms of primitive data structures, and the non-primitive data structures we represent the data in a non-primitive data structure as per our convenient and requirement, but it is internally in terms of primitive data structures. So non-primitive data structure is the one in terms of primitive data structures, and for example, just a simple example I'll take before we proceed. When I take array is a set or collection. We can call it as a set or collection of integers or float or double. So when I say array is represented in terms of, again, primitive data structure. So just one simple example which we might have already used in our programming is array. So array is a collection of similar data types, or collection of integers, collection of characters, collection of double data type, collection of float data type, collection of Boolean data type. So array is a non-primitive data structure which is represented in terms of primitive data structure. We cannot simply say array collection, but we have to say collection of integers, where integer is a primitive data structure. Collection of characters, where character is a primitive data structure. So non-primitive data structure is the one which is represented in terms of primitive data structure. It is not the basic level data structure. It is not a basic level data structure, and it is represented in terms of basic level data structures. And as I already gave you, the non-primitive data structures are divided into two types. One is linear and another is non-linear. One is linear, another is non-linear. So when you take the non-primitive data structures, non-primitive data structures are divided into two. One is linear, I already gave you. Another is non-linear. So when you take a linear data structure, the linear data structure is the one which is represented using one level of information. Means all the data item in linear data structure will have same weightage. All the data structures in all data structures in linear data structure, all data items in linear data structure will be at same level. So this is a single level data structure. Means all data items are at same level. All data items are at same level. And there is no multiple levels or hierarchical information or relationship between the data items. All data items are at same level. So because all data items are at same level, in one go, means in one simple operation, you can run through all the data items of the data structure. So in one go, all data items can be visited. All data items can be visited for processing. So can be visited for processing. So this is a linear data structure. So that means you will be going in one direction. You will be going in one direction, and you will be going in one direction and accessing the data. You need not go step forward, step backward. That kind of processing is not required in linear because they are all at same level. But in case of non-linear data structure, the data items are at multiple levels. So we say the non-linear data structure represents hierarchical information. So you may have to go forward, backward, process or visit the data items. You cannot run through all the data items at one go. You have to go forward, backward. So that is the nonlinear data structure. So in nonlinear data structure, multiple levels will be present, and multiple levels will be present. Because when it is multiple levels, not the data is not at one level, so we can say there is some hierarchy maintained within the data items. So when there is hierarchy maintained, if you want to process or visit the data items, it is not possible to visit or run through the data items at one go. So it is not possible to see every point is important, because in interviews, because data structures, they may ask you in interview, sometimes they may ask you in written exam, sometimes they may ask you in interview. So every point is an important point, because they may ask anywhere. So they want very fundamental, the student to be very good at data structure fundamental. So every minute information is also very important in data structure. So when you take nonlinear data structure, it is not possible to run through all the items, in one go. It is not possible. So now when you take the we'll learning about it. Example for nonlinear data structure: array is linear data structure. Array is linear. Linked list is linear. Then stock is linear data structure. Queue is linear data structure. Now when you take nonlinear, only two data structures are nonlinear, because there will be hierarchical information represented. One is tree, another one is graph. Tree and graph. And when you take the representation here, representation is very easy here, but the processing may be time consuming. But in case of nonlinear data structure, representation is slightly complex. Representation of data structure is representation is slightly complex. And but processing is very efficient. Processing is efficient with respect to time. So we'll be learning which data structure is suitable in what situation. So accordingly, you have to use the appropriate data structure at appropriate time. So this is the types of data structures. Before we start learning the data structure, one more thing what we should know is algorithm, because algorithm we should know before we start learning about any data structure. So algorithm we have to know, because when you take a program, program consists of data structures and algorithms. So data structure is way of representing information. Algorithm is the way of doing a particular activity. So particular job. So combining the representation and the action is actually the program. So data structure is way of representing the information. Algorithm is a way of doing a job. So that's why when you take a program consists of data structures. So this is way of representing data, way of representation of data. This is way of doing the job. way of doing a job, doing an activity, doing a job. So algorithm is as important as data structure. And also when you take any problem, suppose if you take sorting, there are so many algorithms present, and you have to use the appropriate algorithm. So algorithm, most of the algorithms are standard algorithms, means standard is the one which is used or adopted by so many programmers. It is available all across the world. So algorithm is a standard one, and you may write your own algorithm, but it is always better to depend on the existing algorithm because it is a proven one. So for example, suppose sorting, there are so many algorithms. You cannot write a sorting technique in a completely new way. You have to depend on the existing uh, steps to sort the a set of data items. So the algorithm also plays a key role in software development. So if you want to be very good programmer, then you must be good at data structures, and you must be good at algorithms, because algorithms is nothing but the action or steps or a way of doing the job, or a way of doing the job is nothing but the logic. So algorithm is the logic, and data structure is the representation. So when you take algorithm, it is a collection or a series of uh, if you take the technical definition of algorithm, I'll write it, the technical definition. So algorithm is just, I want to give the definition, then we'll proceed with the data structure. So when you take algorithm, it is a well-defined, this is the important definition, well-defined defined set of finite steps, finite steps, well-defined set of finite steps to do a job, that is algorithm. So it is just a series of steps or sequence of steps to do a job, but it is not just a collection or series of steps. There are two important things. One is the finite, it should be finite and it should be well defined. Now when you write the algorithm should give the solution. So algorithm is nothing but a series of steps to solve a problem. So the solution must be within, using finite number of steps. It cannot be infinite. So that is one first property of algorithm. Second property is there should not be any ambiguity or confusion in this step. So well defined, the every step or statement in the algorithm must be clearly defined. Anybody who goes through an algorithm should know what is happening with that step, what action is happening with that step should be clearly understood by everybody. There should not be any trick, there should not be any confusion in the step. So that's why algorithm, every step in the algorithm must be clearly defined, no ambiguity in the step. Second thing is the number of steps should be finite. So it will be only finite number of steps to do a job. So we require data structure, we require algorithm to develop a software. So we'll be parallelly running, learning data structures and algorithms, and there are some specialized algorithms like dynamic algorithms or divide and conquer. There are different algorithms. We'll be learning them as very advanced in a very advanced stage. So initially we'll be learning about the data structures and the simple algorithms to perform different operations on the data structures. So that is about the algorithm. Next, we'll go to the representation of data structures in memory. Before we choose any data structure, so we'll see representation of data structure, any data structure for that matter, in memory. So any data structure, whatever you take, suppose it may be a stock, it may be queue, it may be graph, it may be tree, any data structure you take, it can be represented in memory in two ways. One is linear representation. One is linear representation. Don't get confused with linear data structure and non-linear data structure. It is different because even non-linear data structure using nonlinear data structures can be represented using linear representation. So here it is just related with memory. So linear representation and linked representation. Linked representation. So as far as the memory is concerned, there are only two ways. There are different data structures present, but as far as the representation of any data structure in memory is concerned, there are only two ways. One is linear representation, another is linked representation. The linear representation is also called as a sequential representation. Sequential representation. And it can also be called as array. So array is the one which is used to represent the data in a linear way, and linked representation is actually linked list. Linked list. So there are two ways of representing. Suppose if I take a tree, I can use graph, or I can use if I take a tree or graph, I can use array or linked list to represent the data. Similarly, if I take stock, I can use array to represent stock, or if I take queue, I can use array to represent the queue, stock, tree, graph. Similarly, I can use linked list to represent stock, queue, tree, and graph. Any data structure can be represented in two ways. Now, one main before we proceed with the data structures, we'll compare linear and non-linear data structures. So the comparison is like this. So first I'll write here linear data structure, then non-linear, so linear representation and linked representation. It is not linear data structure or non-linear data structure. It is linear representation and linked representation of data structure in memory. Now, first property of linear representation, as you know, we call this as an array. So when you take the linear representation, the important property of linear representation, which we popularly call it as array, is it requires consecutive memory area. This is one very important property, consecutive memory area. Consecutive memory area. Don't again get confused that this is static memory allocation. It can also be dynamic memory allocation. So don't get confused that linked list is only linked list is dynamic memory allocation. Even linear representation can also be represented with dynamic memory allocation. But the important property of linear list or array is it requires consecutive memory area to represent the entire data. To represent entire data. Why it is like that? I'll give you entire data. Now this does not. This is where linked list is more beneficial for the programmer. It does not require consecutive memory area. So this is one very important advantage of linked list. Does not require consecutive memory area. If it is there, it's okay, but it is not required consecutive memory area. Why this is required consecutive memory area use? It is ordered or it is indexed. Means every data item present in the linear representation or array will have an index. So we can access the data item directly with an index. So you can have a random access of a data item by just taking the index of the data item, but in linked list that is not possible. So it is indexed. So when it is indexed, then it must be consecutive. So when it is indexed means every item in data structure will have an index. Index generally it starts from zero. Why I'm saying generally it starts from zero is it depends on the language. Most of the languages like Java, Python, C, C++, they start the index with zero, but some languages like Pascal, it start the index with one. So item in DS will have index generally that index starts with zero. So because they are consecutive and there is every item is indexed. So what is the advantage of this is we can access the data item randomly. Random item can be accessed directly. Random item can be accessed directly. That means if I want to access, suppose some 100th item, I need not go through all the 99 items. So that's what it means. We can access a particular item directly with the help of index. So in case of this, there is no indexing present. So if I want to access, suppose a particular item, you have to access several items before that. So an item cannot be accessed directly because it is a linked list. So how linked list is represented, I'm going to give, if you don't know, don't bother. So I'm going to give how linked list is represented, but just remember that in linked list there is no index. So if I want to access an item, I have to run through all the items present before it. But in case of indexed, if I want to access ith item, I can directly access ith item. In case of linked list, if I want to access ith item, I must run through all I minus one items. So which is slightly time consuming because we cannot directly go there and access. So this is one more property of linear and linked representation. Next, when you take 1 minute, yeah. So when you take when you take this next operation here, in case of the memory usage is not memory utilization is not good. Memory utilization is not good. Is not good because if free memory is spread across free area is spread not at one place, spread across different parts of the memory, it cannot be utilized. Memory utilization is not good in linear representation. Here memory utilization is very efficient. Memory utilization is efficient. Utilization is efficient. This is one more. Then when you take the next job is here, when you take any data structure, the important operations are insertion, deletion. So insertion and deletions will be costly here. Insertions and deletions will be costly. Deletions will be costly. Costly means the cost is in terms of time, will be costly. And here insertions and deletions are efficient. Insertions or deletions are efficient. Insertions and deletions are efficient. So when you take the linear representation, just I'll give, suppose if I take, if I have, this is the memory present. When you take the memory, this, if you take it as memory, now, the memory free areas may not be at one place. There may be some free area here. There may be some free area here. There may be some free area here. Free area here. There may be some free area here. But suppose if this is 10k, this is suppose 5k, this is 2k. I want suppose 12k of memory to represent the data. If you go for linear representation, it is not possible because the free area is not at one place. So then you cannot represent the data structure. But in case of linked representation, this it can take 10k here and 2k here, or 2k from here. So wherever it is possible, it can take. So that is how the non-linear this linked representation is better in utilization of memory. But if I want to process the data item, if I want to access a particular data item in non-linear data structure, accessing a data item directly is not possible. You have to run through all the data items. In case of linear representation, you can directly go and access the data item. That's how the linear representation is used. So that is about linear and linked representation. So if you take the linear representation, it is generally array, and linked representation, it is generally linked list. So array is linear representation, then linked list uses linked representation. Now, when you take the array, as I told you, it requires consecutive memory locations. Otherwise, it cannot be useful to represent the data. Whereas linked list, wherever there are free memory areas present, you can use it. And here, to whether it is array or linked list, even array, if you take to some extent array, it's okay, but linked list, you must be very good at pointers. So if you are good at pointers and dynamic memory allocation, so dynamic memory allocation, I can use it with arrays. Means if I want consecutive memory area, I can use array to dynamically allot memory and access it. And I can use pointer for array. I can use pointer for linked list. But if you want to do programming in data structures, you must be very good at pointers in C, and you should also be knowing or exposed to dynamic memory allocation. So these two things are very important. The pointers and dynamic memory allocation are very important for